or one of them actually did. All eyes were on 7 players today. There's the deadline. All eyes were on 7 players today as they hope to get long-term deals in place before that surprising buzzer went off at 4 p.m. Eastern. 6 of these 7 players did not put ink to paper, meaning they will now have to play the 2021 season on the franchise tag. We'll get to them in a moment. But Adam Schefter, you broke the news of the one that did. Can you tell us who it was?
Yes, that's correct. Taylor Moton, the Panthers offensive tackle, agreed to a 4-year, $72 million contract that included $43 million at signing. And so he becomes, we believe, the only franchise tag player to get a deal done before today's deadline. Now, keep in mind, some other franchise deals did get done earlier this offseason. The Giants gave Leonard Williams a big extension. The Broncos gave Justin Simmons a big extension. But on the last day that franchise players can sign long-term extensions this season, Taylor Moton appears to be the only one that got a deal done. Matt Rule is a big Taylor Moton fan, and it was evident in the type of deal that they gave him today, a big deal for a young offensive tackle.
Second-round pick by the Panthers in 2017, and obviously a player about whom they feel very, very good. Let's get the rest of our crew in here. Marcus Spears and Keyshawn Johnson joining today's show. The Panthers have now locked up their entire offensive line for the next 2 seasons to help protect new quarterback Sam Darnold. So, Marcus, do you expect Darnold to take a big step forward now that he's in Carolina?
I do, DG. I do. I expect him to take a huge step, one, because he's about to be in a competent situation. And I think we can all look back at his time in New York and say it was a lot of things that were going wrong with the Jets organization. Secondly, Matt Rule is that guy that gets the most out of his players. I don't think he gets enough credit. He's one of my favorite coaches that I've never even played for or met in person. But when you hear players talk about him and you see what type of team he puts out on the field and championship and building programs while he was in college, you would think that Sam Darnold would be able to thrive in that type of culture. And then the vote of confidence to pick up Sam Darnold's 5th-year option. And now you re-sign Taylor Moton. You're getting back a healthy Christian McCaffrey. The chips have failed where they should for Sam Darnold and the Carolina Panthers. He has a really good coaching staff. He has weapons around him. They've assured his protection, which is one thing he fought through with the New York Jets as well. Sam Darnold should feel great about returning to camp. And congratulations to Taylor Moton on getting his money, man. Y'all know my words. Get your money, man, at all costs.
Obviously good for Taylor Moton, maybe not so good for the 6 other franchise tag players that didn't get deals before the deadline. Adam, take us through those guys, starting with wide receiver Allen Robinson in Chicago.
Well, Dan, as you know, he's coming off a 2nd franchise tag, which makes it that much more difficult to get a long-term deal done. And Allen Robinson knows that he's going to be paid big money this year to play on that 2nd franchise tag, about $18 million. And then if he hits the open market, the Bears wouldn't tag him again, so he can become an unrestricted free agent and really cash in at that point in time. The Buccaneers have Chris Godwin under a franchise tag, but not a long-term deal. And the Buccaneers have spent so much money this offseason on so many different players. You don't see defending Super Bowl champs keep their roster that intact the way Tampa Bay did this offseason. And so it's tough to get a deal done for a great young player like Chris Godwin. As much as the Buccaneers wanted to, this is something that they'll turn their attention to, but can't turn their attention to until after the season. And there are the other players. We mentioned Robinson playing under 2 tags. Same is true of Brandon Scherf in Washington. So he has a huge salary this year as well. Cam Robinson, no deal. Marcus May, no deal. And Marcus Williams, as of about an hour ago, didn't sound like they were close either. So again, sometimes, Dan, deals flicker in at the last moment. The teams agreed and got the paperwork to the league. We've seen that happen, and until about 4:30, we don't know that that's official, but the indications are right now Taylor Moton is going to be the only player under the franchise tag to beat today's 4 p.m. Eastern deadline and get a long-term extension done.
Good reminder there, and obviously if any of those other deals do trickle in, we will keep you posted here on NFL Live throughout the next hour. Another guy playing on a 1-year deal is Cam Newton, the quarterback the Patriots brought back after an up-and-down 2020 season. few weeks after they did that, they drafted Alabama's Mac Jones with the 15th overall pick. So far, the Patriots say Cam is the starter. Cam was on Keyshawn's radio show this morning, and here is some of what he had to say.
Let's be honest. I've been playing this game long enough to know, that's the right pick. Mac and Cheese is a person doing the initiatives of learning his teammates, understanding that, I got to raise my level of play, from the collegiate level to the professional level, and I'm here for him, and as well as he is here for me. So when Mac was picked, there was no type of ill will feelings, and there's still no ill will feelings. Because, competition breeds out the best in everybody. And it's really put up or shut up time.
Key, what were your thoughts on what Cam had to say to you on the radio this morning?
Well, look, he's a veteran player who's been in this league, who's seen a lot of guys come and go. He's right. They were going to select the quarterback, especially coming off the year that the New England Patriots had as a team as a whole, not just Cam Newton. Cam Newton, we also talked about the COVID incident and how poor he played down the stretch for the New England Patriots. But clearly they saw something enough in him to bring him back, sign a bunch of players in free agency. And one thing that I took away from that conversation with Cam is, hey, this is my football team. I get it. They selected somebody. And if I go out there and I play poor, then yeah, I'm going to be benched. He knows that. He doesn't need us pundits on television to tell him that he had a bad season. We know he had a bad season, but I can almost guarantee you, based on who he is, determination to always be great, his work ethic, how hard he works, he'll be the opening day starting quarterback. And from there, he has to hold off Mac Jones, Jared Stidham, Brian Hoyer, and anybody else that's looking to replace him. If they go 0-2, 1-3, then you'll see another quarterback, rightfully so.
Listen, man, first of all, great interview, Key. But it's perspective. Like, Cam Newton is not confused about where he is at this point in his career. He's a bridge guy right now auditioning to be a long-term starter for another team. The New England Patriots drafted Mac Jones to be their future, their starter going forward. And he's set up in the perfect way. That's why before the draft, I was like, this will be an ideal destination for Mac Jones. That's not to cast any aspersions on Cam Newton. Both things can be true. Cam Newton can be in a one-year situation with the New England Patriots where he's auditioning for teams that need a legit starter, and if it performs at a high level, you go with Cam Newton. The New England Patriots already have their succession plan in place. But I tell you this, they start with two division opponents. They go 0-2 in those games. I expect to see Mac Jones the following week, and the Patriots are going to rip the Band-Aid off and get their future started real fast. I do expect Cam to play well. I expect him to have a much better season than he had last year. But the real point is Cam Newton understands and has been in this league long enough to know what the writing on the wall is for him in New England.
And Marcus, it's a great point because you look around that room in New England, Mac Jones, Jared Stidham, Brian Hoyer. So there are a surplus of quarterbacks. So Cam Newton needs to play well because he is auditioning for somebody at this point in time. Short of him having a Cam Newton type of MVP season like he once did for Carolina, the chances are he's going to be playing for somebody else, somewhere else, next season. But he's got a chance to win that job. I don't know that it's going to be as easy as he says. Because, again, let's keep in mind, Mac Jones is somebody that's ready to play, somebody that played an awful lot and has taken some snaps, and somebody who's ready to, I think, make an impact in the game. The 49ers traded up to number 3 with the idea that they were comfortable enough taking Mac Jones at 3. Well, Mac Jones slid to New England's spot, and now they have the chance to mold him. If he impresses them during the preseason, there's no reason to hold back going to him. But Cam Newton needs to play the way he did in Carolina at one point.
So we'll see how that plays out in Patriots training camp. Marcus mentions those two division games. Patriots open the season against the Dolphins and then the Jets. The Richard Sherman story that broke yesterday morning continues to develop today. The veteran cornerback will have a hearing later this afternoon to determine charges after an incident with his wife and her family members Wednesday. Reports say Sherman crashed his vehicle in a construction zone, tried to break into his in-laws' home, and then fought with officers. So, Adam, as this story continues to develop, what more can you tell us?
Well, Dan, we are awaiting Richard Sherman to appear before the judge in the King County